So talk about those moments when your ideas aren't as accepted.
I'm very well with rejection, I guess, because every idea is not going to be everybody else's idea to want to execute. Everybody's not going to buy into. I think it's almost like playing a sport. Like, you're not going to win every game, and you still go to practice, and you come back and you play again. And so that's kind of how I perceive marketing to be. It's like when I go into these meetings with clients and I present ideas, they'll take some of them. Majority of my life they've taken, and some of them they haven't. I think I try to go back and fine tune them, and sometimes I represent. Sometimes I just scratch it and start over. I think this is, again, and I'll reiterate this, is teamwork. Like, sometimes your team has your back when you're up there struggling to get a point across, or the client is just really trying to kill your idea and you just are kind of like flustered, but other people now believe in it, so they help and cover you in that aspect. It's never personal though. Like, coming up with ideas, because it's so subjective, I don't ever take my ideas personal, because I know that there are more where that came from. So if one didn't go, I know I got plenty more in the bag that I could pull from. I think probably the most recent example of that is last year when I was presenting my 2020 marketing plan. I had come up with so many out-of-the-box ideas for the real estate development company that I work for that I thought, and the team thought, were really, really strong. But we also knew that the client wasn't at a place to think outside of the box like that yet. So you also have to recognize sometimes people aren't where you would think they would be or where you want them to be, and that's okay too, because everything in life is not going to go your way, and that applies to work, that applies to friendships, relationships. All of it is one and the same, and that applies to your creativity and your ideas too. So you kind of got to take it with a grain of salt. And I just come back again with an even stronger plan, a stronger idea. I take the criticism that I learned the first time that I was rejected, and I apply that to the next time. If somebody said they didn't like this about that one idea, then I know not to put that thing in the next idea. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna keep presenting, different things to them. And usually clients appreciate that. They appreciate the feedback that you take whenever you come back and present something new, and you apply that feedback.
So what does your strategy look like when you're marketing to different types of people?
This is really interesting because it takes a good understanding of people to know how to market to them. For instance, when I look at brands like H&M, you know what kind of world we're in right now. Like, in this moment in time where there's this race war, and now we all are probably gonna feel a little awkward for a while. I don't know how long. I don't know if it's forever. I don't know if it's for a couple of years, whatever. But there's a level of sensitivity that you have to have for each demographic of people that you market to, especially when you're doing very targeted messaging. For instance, I really took a chance with this marketing message that I was going to put out. When I moved to Houston, they tasked me with coming up with a campaign for African American consumers. And one thing that I noticed about African Americans just in Houston is that there is a very unique language that's used, like swangers and vogues and trill, and that whole southern culture, that Zero and Trey and all of them kind of induced into like all of the culture, not even just hip hop. It's just kind of like Houston got a swag to it. So when they said that, I was like, we need to try to use some language in here, because I was like, I'm a person that I can switch gears, I can kick it with anybody. It's cool, it's all good over here. So I was tasked with coming up with some ideas, some very unique ideas to target the African American community. And this happens in every type of brand, so it's not just McDonald's, it's not just whoever. You see different messages than what Bob and Sally see, whoever Bob and Sally are. You see different messages than what Veronica sees, whatever. So I was like, Houston got a swag to it. I think we should talk to people in their language. And so, the first thing that came to mind, the promotion was breakfast. And we had a brainstorm with the creative team, and we came up with all of these different, sitting for when traffic is trapped and screwed or something, the concept of eating food in your car car because you're driving slow and you're in traffic, you know, those type of things. But the one that ended up sticking was keep breakfast trill. And because trill is the definition of true and real, and McDonald's really wanted to push that breakfast is like the main meal of the day. It's the one that everybody says, oh, I'll eat breakfast at McDonald's. So I'm like, that's perfect. Keep breakfast trill. Billboards, plastic everywhere. Then news picks up the story because people are like, who works at McDonald's that knows enough about Houston culture to put these billboards up? And I went and took a picture by it. I'm like, yeah, like this is lit. But I had to present that headline to 60 McDonald's owners, and they're not all black. So the ones in Sugarland, Katy, like those owners were kind of like, what does trill mean? Like one of them literally raised his head and was like, what does trill mean? And I was like, it's a combination of true and real, and it resonates. And they were like, you got it, go with it. And I think whenever you really understand different cultures, you're able to speak to them in that tone and that language without being offensive. Nobody took that as like, oh, McDonald's trying to just target black people, because we also put billboards up in Spanish. We also put billboards up that have no kind of racial integration. So I think brands more time than not try to be relatable, not offensive. And I think a lot of people take that the wrong way. I think there is a certain level of caution, though, that all marketing people need to use and have a general understanding of what's offensive and what's not. For instance, H&M, when they did the black kid with the monkey on his shirt, and then the white kid had, I can't remember, maybe something about school or something. It kind of made it look a little culturally imbalanced. Had they have had somebody that was a little bit more aware of how that might look when it comes out, even if nobody thought putting the black kid in a monkey t-shirt was offensive, it was still, you know, like a message that I think we have to be aware of. And so I think just being culturally aware, understanding your surrounding, and engulfing yourself in other people's cultures gives you the opportunity to be able to talk to them in a different kind of way.
So do you feel like marketing is your calling?
In a certain aspect, yeah, I do. Because marketing is so many different things. I really think the experiential aspect of marketing is my calling. It's something that I enjoy doing, and something I want to do forever.